Welcome back to Rob Liefeld Appreciation Month here on Crypto Comics, all you beautiful people in Webtown. Yesterday we covered the life and subsequent death of Chapel, and it was Chapel's death that leads us into this Extreme Sacrifice crossover. This is a major event from Rob Liefeld's Extreme Studios featuring all of his characters from Image Comics. It's an event that began in September of 1994 and lasted through February of 1995 and featured a very mysterious and nefarious villain known as Crypt. Now, who is Crypt? I promise by the end of this 3-day event on Crypto Comics, you will find out who Crypt really is. But in order to find out, we have to get started. Where do we get started? Prophet, issue number 7 from September of 1994, featuring beautiful artwork by Stephen Platt, who I think most fans who were alive in the 90s still remember Stephen Platt because his artwork was so compelling and impressive. And he drew dudes who took steroids from Mars, I swear. Like, look at that. Jeez. Look at those veins just popping out. Obviously, this was created by Rob Liefeld, featuring a story by Rob Liefeld and Robert Napton, and a script by Robert Napton, the art by Stephen Platt, inks by Marlo Alquiza. So, we're gonna go through this quickly because I know we're mainly just interested in the crossover event. And so we just kind of have to roll with the punches here today on Crypto Comics. Flip through this bad boy. You get to at least look at all this beautiful art. I will turn so you can see that. Yowza. That is dynamic art. This is what's missing from comic books today, in my opinion. Good stories don't hurt either. I don't know, abundance of those out there. If there ever were, to be honest. Here we go. So, now here's our boy, Crypt. Okay, we're good. We'll start from scratch, as it says. And though this wilderness yearns to heal, its quiet is again disrupted by the unnatural, the coming of another, a herald of apocalypse. He has been many things throughout many ages, among them a collector of lives taken in battle, of spells looted from sorcerers, of weapons of enchantment and power. And now he has come to our time, on a profane crusade, to bind the unsuspecting in the shroud of oblivion, for that is the destiny of Crypt. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Revelation 9:6. There we go. See how easy that was? You got a little taste of Crypt there. Now we move on very quickly into the pages of Youngblood Strike File number 8. 8 is great. Exploding from the pages of Prophet. Extreme Sacrifice continues. Now what's interesting is this is just kind of like a prelude to Extreme Sacrifice. This isn't actually part of the 9-part series. The Crypt story is written by Robert Napton, penciled by Marat Michaels, and inked by Larry Stucker. Now the other day we talked about Dutch and Keith Giffen and how Keith Giffen in the pages of that Bad Rock and Company number 1, it mentioned that Keith Giffen had written a Dutch story for Youngblood Strike File, and it happens to be issue number 8 right here. We aren't going to go through that, though, unfortunately, for all you Dutch fans out there. I'm a Dutch fan. We got to stick with Crypt, Colorado. The name itself conjures up images of the most pleasurable spots on Earth. Vail, Aspen, the Rocky Mountains. But Colorado also houses a less hospitable resort, Ragnarok, Government Research Center, and site of the battle between Ragnarok director Philip Oman and his test subject, Jonathan Taylor Prophet. Only hours ago, that contest ended as Prophet escaped with his companion Jackson Kirby. But now, another has come. His name is Crypt, and he travels with but one companion. Death! I love this art. Marat Michaels' artwork has just vastly improved just in the short time he's been with Extreme Studios here in our tour of Image Comics. Ah! Be good little wind-up soldiers and go quietly. Ragnarok Control, we've got a lone intruder in Section 17. He's heavily armed. We're having problems containing him. Please deploy another detachment. Go ahead and deploy your lambs. The toil imbues my soul. We've got him, Control. Come on, freak. I don't think I heard you. Can you repeat that? No, of course you can't. Curious, I never thought it would be so nostalgic to come back here. I guess I'm getting sentimental in my old age. And now for the purpose behind my return visit. Jonathan Taylor, Prophet. Ah, Prophet, if only you knew the anguish I've planned for you. It may be more than you're capable of enduring. In fact, I'm counting on it. But aside from Omen, I don't want anyone else getting to you. That's why I've liberated your files from Ragnarok's mainframe. We wouldn't want prying eyes finding out too much about what went on here. And by doing so, I'll have you to myself, now and for all eternity. As this messenger of revelation departs, he knows a deadly tryst awaits him, for the fate of tomorrow must be sealed today with the blood of Jonathan Taylor, Prophet. Crypt versus Prophet, round 1, blood strike number 16. Be there. And here we see the Extreme Sacrifice and the issues you have to collect. Extreme Sacrifice Prelude, Supreme 23, Blood Strike 18, Brigade 16, New Men number 10, Team Youngblood 17, Prophet 10, the Extreme Sacrifice Epilogue, and Part 0, Youngblood Strike File number 11. Plus, there was also a single one-shot for Crypt, which I unfortunately don't have, but it is still available out there. It's easy to find online. Haven't found it in my LCS, unfortunately, but that's okay. And as you can see, then it goes on to Keith Giffen's story about our buddy Dutch. But we're going to keep going with Extreme Sacrifice, because it is time for the Extreme Sacrifice Prelude. Yeah, look at that. Now that is some awesome artwork right there by Rob Liefeld. So this is what kind of sucks, and I'm going to be honest with you. The Part 0, which actually came after the whole crossover event, really details what the heck is even going on in this dang thing, in my opinion. So I'm gonna read this to you, and I'm sorry, because obviously these are spoilers, but if you're watching this video, it's because you want spoilers. That's the way I look at it. Herald of the Apocalypse, the nefarious Crypt rips through the fabric of time as he conquers each of the heroes that stand in his way. An emissary of evil, Crypt follows Chapel's creed and relentlessly pursues the newborn to slaughter the one true hope for salvation. Former Youngblood enforcer and government assassin Chapel terminated his own life in a bid to be reborn as one of Malbolgia's hellspawn. Ultimately wresting the throne of hell from Lucifer's grasp, he now mounts the legions of darkness in preparation for the coming Armageddon. And it's this story that is covered in issue 0. It should have been covered at the very beginning of this whole thing. Like, that's literally what the Extreme Sacrifice Prelude should be, is the story of Chapel conquering hell. Unfortunately, that's just, I don't know why they did it this way. It's very foolish. But, we will get to Chapel conquering hell eventually in this series. Leader of the Order of the Night and chief instigator of the gathering, Colonel Bravo is the linchpin holding together the Alliance to stop Chapel's quest for universal domination. Cast out of hell by Chapel, the demonic Graves has retreated in time to assume control of Youngblood and plot his eventual return to power as the rightful ruler of hell. So here we have an epic spoiler for all of you Youngblood fans. The man who's been in charge of them the entire time, Graves, is actually Lucifer in disguise. An enigmatic foil to the treacherous Crypt, the time-jumping Link has arrived to prevent the death of the newborn and forestall Chapel's plans of universal destruction. An ancient circle of near immortals, the Order of the Night, have wandered the earth as gods, kings, sorcerers, and even as common men since the dawn of time. Banding together in times of great need, They have gathered in the present to protect the newborn and combat Chapel's ruthless onslaught. These are the new men. An unwitting team of new gene-positive teenagers, the new men are ultimately the key components in the battle between darkness and light. In an unprecedented turn of events, Dash has given birth to the newborn and watched him grow to adulthood in a matter of days. Now the new men await to learn their destiny as part of the gathering. Now you know the players. Let the war begin. So, quite a bit of spoilers here for all of you who have not explored the Extreme Studios universe. I'm sorry to break it to you, but this is just what we got to do. This is a story by Rob Liefeld, a script by Eric Stevenson. They mention all these pencilers, but I don't think all the people penciled this book. I think that maybe they're referring to all the people who pencil all the comics at Extreme Studios during the crossover. I wasn't really sure. The story so far. In the aftermath of the unexpected suicide of long-standing Youngblood member Chapel, the balance of power between heaven and hell has been forever altered. Years in the future, after completing his descent into hell, Chapel sets about dethroning Lucifer to assume the mantle of Lord of Hell for himself. On Earth, Crypt and Link have both arrived to draw the lines of battle and prepare their respective alliances for the war to come. Meanwhile, Dash from the New Men gave birth to a son who grew from conception to adulthood in a matter of days. At the same time, Dash and the time-displaced, genetically enhanced Prophet each had horrific dreams foretelling of the coming darkness. As all the pieces began to fall into place, Bravo and Link initiated the gathering, a call to arms for all those opposed to Chapel's dark bid for ultimate power. Imagine, if you can, a time when all hell was locked in desperate battle, a time when the old rule was challenged by the coming of an evil, unlike any even I could have conceived. Imagine the passing of all that was to be, in a single, blazing holocaust. The end came quickly. After what seemed an eternity of carnage and destruction, destiny found its way to my realm in one final, blinding flash of indescribable power. Such was the force of that final blast that nothing could have hoped to survive, but miraculously, I emerged from the devastation intact. My dark realm was lost to me, and I knew I would not last there if I stayed. So I elected to retreat across the vastness of time and space, in a desperate bid to set in motion plans to reclaim that which I'd lost. 1980, 81, 82. I found myself here, on Earth, at the advent of the 8th decade of the 20th century, and inhabited the form of the man you see now before you. Not by chance, I used my position as director of the Youngblood program to manipulate key events to suit my needs. Soon, I had forged America's most beloved team of heroes into my own personal weapon of reprisal. No detail was left to chance. Everything I have done was with this day in mind. That Dirty Graves. What's he got cooked up?
An impressive story, Graves. But what I fail to realize is how this involves me. I'm a Catalan warrior. I have nothing to do with you or this world.
You are not listening, Combat. Or do you truly believe the crash landing that stranded you here was an accident?
What are you saying? That you engineered everything? That's preposterous. Even if you are what you say, you couldn't.
Choose your words carefully, my alien friend. Could not is a phrase I hardly find appropriate for any sentence involving myself as the subject. On your world I am known as Kervik. Here I am Lucifer and Mephistopheles, darkness personified. Do not presume to tell me what I am capable of.
Somewhere over the Atlantic Ocean.
Nothing on radar.
Exactly how long do you plan to wait on this friend of yours, Colonel?
As long as it takes, Cabot. He's heard the call. He knows we're up here. He has to show. It's just a matter of when. And he's not my friend.
Hate to interrupt, Bravo, but I think we've got visual.
Get ready then, Link. It's happening.
He's coming. Suddenly the ocean is a cauldron of discontent as its surface breaks into a violent crash of waves, and then slowly,
Triumphantly, it gives birth to a vessel, the likes of which few men have ever seen. Is that none other than? Come on, we'd better make our way topside and give him a proper welcome. Lingering behind his newfound compatriots, the man known to some as Bloodstrike pauses long enough to take a second look at the commanding figure emerging from the ship below. Over the years, he himself has seen and done the impossible, more often than he'd care to recall. But even a man who has literally died only to return from the grave cannot truly be prepared for the awe-inspiring sight of Roman, Prince of Tides. It's not Namor, okay? I know what you're thinking. It's not Namor, though. It's Roman, Prince of Tides. Oh. Listen up, fellas. I want you both to be on your guard. As a member of the Order of the Night, Roman is sworn to participate in the gathering, but that doesn't mean he will. If things get ugly, I'm going to need your help. So, you know, they talk and they talk and they talk. And they talk and they talk and they talk. And Colonel Bravo, you know, after all this discussion, says, we're off to Hyde Penitentiary to free Warwolf. We'll rendezvous in Washington, D.C. Then I will see you there. Bear in mind, though, Colonel, you are in my debt, and I expect to be repaid in full. Acknowledged. I only pray we both live long enough for that to remain a concern. And there's Stephen Platt himself right there. That's what he looks like. There you go. Well, that's what he looked like in '94. And here we got our buddy Troll from Youngblood at the headquarters of Project Youngblood. Alrighty, you lousy good-for-nothing dopes. This is where we separate the boys from the men, and the men from Bartholomew J. Troll. Yikes! Talk about your rotten timing. They pay you guys extra to intrude on my workouts or what, Keever? Don't start with me, Bartholomew. We both know the program can be reset at any time, and they talk and they talk and they talk. They talk about, you know, the birth of the newborn. And Troll just says, you know, ultimately, not that I'd expect you to understand or anything, but it means a lot to me that those kids and their baby are all right. I wonder why. Let's find out. Ooh, we are going to cover this as soon as we conclude Extreme Sacrifice. So stay tuned here at Crypto Comics for Nightmare. Meanwhile, at Johns Hopkins Memorial Hospital, the new men are beside themselves because this baby has like grown and grown and grown into you know, a full-size man in like the course of a week. And he decides he's going to leave. This is the newborn. And he decides he's going to leave, and his mother is beside herself. And the newborn just explains it how it is. I know this is unsettling for you, but I was born for a reason, Mother. Exactly what that reason is, I am not entirely certain of at this point. But I do know this. My destiny cannot be fulfilled here with you. I must venture out into the world to find my true place. Shh, everything's going to be all right, Lisa. Just stay calm, okay? No. Please, someone tell me this is just another dream, please. This is really getting more complicated than I would have liked. Well, it doesn't have to be, Proctor. He said he wants to leave. Who are we to stand in his way? After all, it's not like we can keep him here. Well put, Father. I knew I could count on your understanding and support. I must go now. We will meet again. And he just like dissolves for some reason. I'm not sure what his powers are, but you know, that's what he can do, I guess. Hey, what the heck's going on in here? We saw some kind of light. Not now, Kodiak. Not now. He's gone. My baby's gone. Elsewhere, laughter echoes through the citadel tonight. It winds snake-like through the endless tower halls, seeking out silence and suffocating it without remorse. Outside, the air is cold and dead, and it's broken only by the sudden burst of gravelly sound as it travels up and over the barren landscapes into the slate-black sky. This is hell, and tonight its master is in heaven. It seems a lifetime ago now, teetering precariously on the precipice above blissful reprieve and eternal damnation, the life force flooding out of his body and into the vacant, timeless realm that is Limbo. It was there he found purpose. There his final living moments took on new meaning. His destiny was laid bare before him. All that was required of him was that he reached out and claim it as his own. Slowly, methodically, he did what he must, and was, in return, granted a kingdom. Now casting his gaze upon the fruits of labor, he allows himself a moment's reflection on his rise to power and confirms it to be true. It's better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. John Milton, Paradise Lost.
He's gone. My baby's gone.
Yes, child. He is lost to you now, hopelessly lost, and soon to be within my confining grasp forevermore. Lord Chapel, Master, my mission to Ragnarok was a resounding success. I bring news of profit. And be silent, Crypt. I have no patience for your pathetic rivalries now. Our game of far greater consequences afoot now. Ooh. My dark vision of conquest at last bears the first signs of becoming reality. The newborn is among us, and every moment idly spent is a moment wasted. John Prophet will yet figure into all of this, but of more pressing concern to me now is the rapidly proliferating army of heroes who will serve as the child's protectors. Before my goals of earthly domination can reach fruition, before I can release the forces of hell on a weak and unsuspecting universe, they are the ones who must be dealt with. The leaders of this army call themselves knights, and they are 5 men and 1 woman in number. Even now they traverse the earth, enlisting others to their cause. You, loyal Crypt, will ensure that they find increasingly fewer allies, beginning with the Braggot Supreme. Crush him now, and we are rid of him forever. Go now, and await further guidance.
Chapel is wicked, like literally wicked, not in a good way, in a bad way.
Sleep tonight with abandoned, pathetic humans. Savor tomorrow's dawn, for it shall never come again.
To be continued in Supreme 23, Bloodstrike 18, Brigade 16, New Men 10, Team Youngblood 17, Prophet 10. And then, in 1 month, be here as the battle beyond Armageddon kicks into overdrive in the Extreme Sacrifice Epilogue. And that's the story, the beginning, if you will, of the Extreme Sacrifice. We'll come back with the exciting conclusion of this major crossover event from Image Comics tomorrow here on Crypto Comics. If you're having a good time, please hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, subscribe, hit that ding dong for notifications. And if you really love your boy Crypto, please go to megawattcomic.com and support my Kickstarter campaign for my own comic book, Megawatt versus the Vampires of the Sun, drawn by the extremely talented Australian artist Josh Spencer. That's Spencer Toons on Twitter. And I guarantee it will entertain you and even entertain the kids in your family if you have them. So I thank you for your support, and I will see you tomorrow with the conclusion of Extreme Sacrifice here on Rob Liefeld Appreciation Month from Crypto Comics.